The video that you just watched, or the one you're about to watch, I don't know exactly where I'm going to throw this in yet, but that video I shot literally 2 hours ago, and you can see how much different it looks already. Emma, your face is dirty. You guys enjoying that hay? You eat as much as you're wearing? Sweetie, come on, get off the ice. Sweetie, do you like that stuff too? Okay, I also said that I would break down the cost of this. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. You guys can see it is cold weather hat season. You guys seen the ponds? They're freezing up now. It's not too awful today. Today's one of the warmer days that we've had. It is in the mid-20s right now. That's Fahrenheit. But we just got through going through a little bit of cold snap where we had a lot of teens and single-digit numbers. That was actual temperature, not wind chill. Most of the wind chills was down in the negatives. But I just want to jump in here and do kind of a little update video about the deer plots, the food plots that we planted back in the fall, and kind of go over some of the wheat and just kind of see how it's doing. And I also want to give you an update on the liquid feed. Tuesday, we just got a delivery of liquid feed. I was at work, so I wasn't here to film any of it, but I just kind of want to talk about the liquid feed, what it costs, what the protein is of it, and some other uses that you can use liquid feed for. It is the second week of January right now, 2025, so kind of just want to give you a little update on that. Okay, so this is the little bit of wheat that we planted here off in the timber. See, it's all green. We didn't plant any of this, and it's just leaves and brush. So out here in the fields, you can see all that green, that's the wheat. It will start coming up. Once the weather starts warming up, it'll really take off. But right now it doesn't really look like much. But I can show you a pasture next to here that this looks a lot better than what it does. Okay, so here's one of the other patches. You can see all the green wheat coming up in here. And right here across the fence, which this is still part of our property, that's my aunt's property over there. You can see how that field looks, just wiry, kind of a wiregrass, weeds, all that stuff. But long time ago, before we got this property, that over there was one big cotton field, so that's why we call it the cotton field. No, I haven't really said that much on camera, but I haven't been on that side of the property in quite a while. I do plan on getting back over in there at some point, because I know there's a lot of dead standing trees in there as well. And back that direction, there's a bunch of them back in that timber. But the wheat don't look awful. There is deer tracks galore all through here. Luckily, I plant enough wheat out through here, this patch and all the other ones, that the deer There's too much wheat for the deer to eat all of it. But I do not plant for the deer. This is all planted for the cows come springtime. All right, we are back here where we planted. There's still a little bit of snow left. We're supposed to be getting some more, like I said, this evening. But this side over here, this is the Antler King. And it honestly does not look that bad. It was coming up fairly decent in December. There's a lot of leaves out through here. But I believe this had the forage oats and kind of the wheat or the rye. We'll have to look back at that video to see exactly what was in that. And the domain was over there on that side closer to the deer stand. That had the foraged turnips in it and the rye, the brassicas. So let's go see how it looks. Okay, kind of the same deal. Bunch of leaves back in here, but that stuff was coming up pretty decent as well. The Antler King I think was taller, but the domain here I think was a whole lot thicker. I did put out a little salt block, apple salt block for the deer. They've been licking on it. But this stuff turned out pretty decent for the most part. Again, it probably would do a lot better if all these leaves weren't shedding all down in here. But it still kept the deer coming in here. And looks like Sweetie found her a deer. Sweetie, quit dragging stuff up around here. Things as big as you are. That one there was actually a buddy of mine's that he got. A lot of times we like to bring deer back over to this back corner because we do have a decent bobcat population over here and coyotes. I did not get to do any trapping this year, but that's one of our main spots that we trap is back here in that corner. And the cats and coyotes love carcasses to eat on, and so does Sweetie. All right, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of an update on this back here because I know I haven't in a little while. I think next year we're probably going to go in that field that is right next to the cotton field and do a couple different varieties there, because that'll eliminate the leaves for the most part, so we can just kind of see what things do just out in an open field. This year we got to see kind of what they did in the timber. A lot of people hunting the timber, so this wasn't a fail by any means. This stuff did come up. The deer did come in on it quite a bit, but I can't say one way or the other whether they like the Antler King more or the domain more. But that's just part of the testing, so hopefully some of y'all found that informational. So this is our liquid feeder. It is a 4-wheel liquid feeder. It's got a wheel on all sides of it. I mean, it's a circle, but there's 4 wheels on it. Now this feed, I made a video last January, never published it because my audio went horribly wrong on that. It was the same day that me and my oldest son was chopping ice in the pond. And by the time I got up here, the microphone ended up freezing on that GoPro that I had. So that kind of started the process of going to another external mic that I've been extremely happy with. The mic works great. But in that video, it was 0 degrees that day, 0 degrees to -1, and it was snowing very heavy. And I was curious how this stuff would do at that kind of temperature. So I'll go ahead while I'm talking and throw that video up here, because that's the only thing that's good in that video is the video itself. The audio's gone, so we'll take the audio out. But this liquid feed that we use is from Westway. We've got a dealer about 15 miles from here. The dealer is actually the guy that was my instructor for diesel technology whenever I went to Votech. He does that, and he also delivers feed on the side. His son's a full-time firefighter. He also delivers feed on his days off and things like that. So since we started using liquid feed, probably, I would say 4 years ago now, somewhere in there, anytime we need feed, we can call them and they're there that day or the very next day. It's great that they have that kind of customer service on delivering feed to all their customers. They've got quite a few customers around here. There's been times where if we haven't ordered in a while, a couple months, something like that, they may call, or if they know that there's a winter storm approaching, they'll call, see if we need a half load or anything like that to top us off just to get us through the cold snap or winter storm that we're fixing to have. But this is something that they do on the side. They have a pretty large cattle operation around us, so they've got their hands full as is, but they still believe in this product enough that they become a dealer for it, and they also just sell it to everyone in our region that wants to go with liquid feed. Westway is not the only liquid feed in my area. There's some other manufacturers of it, but we like the liquid feed from Westway. So this delivery we got Tuesday, it had 2,900 pounds of feed that was delivered. Now in our area, we don't have to get a delivery of feed. We can get clean IBC totes or a tank or whatever and take it over to them. They'll fill it up and we bring it back home. But what they charge to deliver this, to me, it's almost worth it just to have them bring it. Like I said, we're 15 miles away from them. They charge us the entire time that we bought feed from them. They charge us $20 to deliver this feed and pump it in to our feeder. If I was going to do it, it would take an hour and a half to 2 hours to load my tank, drive over there, get the feed, shoot the breeze with them a little bit, come home, get the tractor or whatever and bring it down here, hook up hoses and dump it off into the tank. So for $20, to me, it's well worth having them do it. But I will also throw up on screen the, I guess you'd call it the nutritional value or what's in the Westway. It is a 35% protein lick. It's got all different sorts of ingredients in it, molasses, a bunch of dry matter and different things like that. But if you guys want to look at it, I'll throw it up somewhere during this video up on screen so you guys can you can pause the video if you want and read through it. But since we started going with the liquid feed, we have calves in the springtime, and once they're about a month old, them calves are also licking on this. I think our cows look better. The calves grow better. They seem to like it a lot, and they have access to it 24/7. They come by whenever. We keep hay out all the time for them, and whenever they want liquid feed, they just come up here, lick on it, and get their bellies full, and they're done. So this time of year, the days are fairly short, and I work 12, 13 hours a day whenever I'm on shift. So either when I'm coming to work, it's dark, or when I'm coming home, it's dark. So used to, when we had to feed with the bucket and stuff, a lot of times you're feeding in the dark, unless my dad was off. This gives them access 24/7 to feed. And to me, the cows, since we've went on this, the cows look a whole lot better. The calves grow, like I said, they grow good. They're on it a month old, they're already licking on this stuff. Now, another use that I've seen people use this liquid feed for is if you've got some hay that's probably a low quality hay, you can turn that bale up on end and dump a bunch of this on the end of that bale and let it soak down through. If it's some hay that your cows really aren't wanting to eat on, if it's covered in this liquid feed, they will clean that bale up where there's nothing left of it. But that video that was on screen, again, it was 0 degrees that day, snowing. Obviously, we're not having any issue spinning the wheels today. When it was 0 degrees, you guys seen, there was no issue spinning this. It did not freeze. Where we have this at, because we've got a few hills on this property, and this feeder is up on one of the top of the hills because that's one of the flat spots we got. Once the tank gets a little lower, I did build a skid to put this tank on so I can drag this tank around. But if it's full, you don't want it on much of a slope because you'll end up losing some feed out of it. So once I eat it down a little ways, I can hook onto it and drag it. The skid's mainly for springtime, summertime, when I'm swapping pastures from this pasture over to one of the wheat patches. I can drag this to whatever patch they're in because we keep them having access to this all the time. I've had some people ask about the liquid feed. I've been wanting to make a video of it. That video that you guys seen, that was very heartbreaking, I guess, when I went to edit that video and there was 0 audio to it. It was the video quality, or the video itself, I thought turned out great because I had ice in my beard. It was snowing. It was extremely cold. If it gets to that point again, I'll try to make a updated video of that's not a clip over like it is on this one. But again, it's 20 degrees. This stuff has 0 issue spinning. I mean, it's still just spinning, or kind of drilling right off. So do you like that stuff too? Hey, you like that? Okay, also said that I would break down the cost of this, that our recent delivery. The liquid feed is just like the feed store. You don't necessarily pay the exact same price every time you go. Our feed stores around here anyways, price varies a little bit, not a lot normally, but it does vary a little bit. Liquid feed is no different. But for 2,900 pounds of this liquid feed of the Westway, it was $601. And I think that comes out to be $4.82 per pound of liquid feed. So to us, the price isn't way off or anything like that from running bagged feed. Plus, bag feed, you're having to drive out in the pasture every day or walk or whatever, but you've got a good bit of time there that you're having to get feed and go feed your cattle. Whereas this, they have access to it 24/7 and they can eat however much they want. Normally, a tank like this, we've got 11 cows on this pasture right now and one bull. The bull, they normally eat their weight in the stuff pretty hard, but not too awful. When he's separated, he doesn't get liquid feed, and when he first gets access to it, he eats on it quite a bit. But for the most part, a tank like this will last us a couple months anyways, usually. When we first put it out, when they've never had liquid feed before and we decided we were going to go that direction, bought the tank. That was something else. The tank, our dealer sells the tank. He came out, set everything up, filled it, all that. That was when we decided later on that we'd like a way to move it. So I came up with an idea of a skid to put this thing on so we could make it portable. But it's usually a couple months. Once springtime rolls around and they start really eating on grass a whole lot more, their consumption of this does go down. It does increase slightly in the wintertime. Springtime, whenever they've got plenty of other things to eat on it, it goes down. But the cows really like it. I think they look a whole lot better on it. So do the calves. And it just allows a lot of free time of not having to feed grain every day. We do still keep grain. Dad just went and bought a couple tons of it the other day in our bulk feeder, just so the calves that we have separated, like the heifers that we're keeping back, or if we're feeding steers for butcher or anything like that, then we don't have a second tank right now. We're wanting to get a second tank to put up into that pasture, so when we do have calves separated, they still have access to this, because me and Dad feel this stuff works well enough that all the cows and calves should have access to it all the time. But the simple fact of not having to take grain out every day to go feed and run this stuff, it made sense to us. Every farm, every homestead's different. Some people may not have access to something like this. I don't know how the distribution is for these kind of products, but still in my area, I think a lot of the old farmers and stuff, they still run bag feed or bulk feed, range cubes, different things like that, and that's what they feed their cattle. But I've noticed over the past several years, there's more and more people going to liquid feed in my area, so that says something. The initial cost is a little pricey, I feel. I want to say the tank was $275 to $300. Somewhere in there is what we paid for the tank. You can find tanks on Marketplace occasionally that are a little bit cheaper. We'll find one sometime, more than likely a used tank to put in that other pasture. But the thing you want to make sure on those is the wheels spin freely, and you want to make real sure that there's no crack or hole in the tank itself, because you don't want to spend a bunch of money on feed just for it to run out on the ground. But at some point, I would like to get a clean IBC tote and go get it filled up with feed just to use on hay bales, because I kind of want to see how well that works. The people I've talked to about it that have done it, they said the cows really don't waste anything whenever you put this liquid feed on it. It takes 20 or 30 gallons, somewhere in there. Like I said, put the bale up on end, dump some of that stuff down on there, and just let it soak. But everyone, it's not getting any warmer right now. It is cold. I've been out here for a little while doing some different things, but we got that delivery earlier this week, and I've been wanting to kind of do a little bit of a video on this liquid feed, so figured, well, today's as good as any. It's cold, but it's not as cold as last year when I made that last video. But I really hope you found some of the information helpful. Do any of you all run liquid feed? I know I've got some viewers that run cattle, dairy cattle and stuff like that. I know a lot of the dairy farmers kind of make up their own feed with some different dry matters, and they'll put molasses and stuff like that in it and feed all their cattle and stuff. Do you use a product similar to this, or is it just straight molasses? This product is advertised for feeders, for cow-calf pairs, for dairy operations, basically any cattle. They advertise this for them. But everyone, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of liquid feed. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. And you guys can see, I mean, it is getting colder. Cows have been happy. You're the first one back again, like normal. But this feed, still no issue. They sure like it. But we have gotten a good bit of snow here recently. Pond's covered. New pond down there, it's covered, and it's still coming down. They said the majority of it's going to come during the nighttime. But so far, it's coming down nice. It's a real good time to have a wood stove in the house. But I figured since the weather's changed so quick, I'd go ahead and throw a little clip of this in this video so you can see what it's like. It is not 0 degrees like it was, but we're getting closer to the lower 20s now. It does not feel great to be out here for an extended period, but the cows are happy, so I guess that's all that matters, right? Mr. Bull, you enjoying this snow? All of them's looking good. Your mama's getting some big bellies on you. Be having some babies soon.